good.
See Andy in the back.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Issues with Andy, live from the Green Room, episode 83 after party, where it has been revealed to us very early that it looks like Andy has his bike back because the bike thief himself is here, James Frost Wynn.
Court order, he has to be Andy's butler for 1 month.
Eugene got one of them wacky sitcom judges.
Well, you know, they got that one loony bin thing to pick up the crazy people. So maybe they're just trying to think outside the box. Thanks, James Frostwin.
Hi, James. How are you?
Shit.
Good.
How the fuck do I unmute my speakers?
Uh-oh. Issues with Chad, episode 1.
No, that was just a fucking joke on James.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
just kidding. My speakers
dude,
were
wait.
muted.
No, wait. That spot was perfect because I can take that and I can meme that.
Yeah, I'm with you on the memes, by the way. I don't
Thanks,
know.
James. I appreciate it.
I'm
I'm sorry I accused you of stealing Andy's bike. I knew a professional pinballer like yourself would have way too much respect for that kind of and not do that.
Nothing like accepting the backing of a bike thief to show your integrity.
He's thrown it in our face with a Steelers hat.
Chad's not saying that all meme makers are bike thieves. He's just saying that all bike thieves are meme makers.
That's shit.
I think that's true.
I make memes. I think I've said too much. So,
dude, it's good to see you, my friend.
Hold on. James Frostwind, let me let you know that under the IFPApinball.com, you are ranked 1590th.
Yeah, I haven't been doing any tournaments because I hate those fuckers. So I like my Pinball Wrestling Federation.
Your last one you won, so I don't know what you're hating about winning first place in a main tournament.
Oh, I still win all the time. I just don't want the points. I do it for the glory and for the money, you know.
Man. You should become a pinball hustler that just hangs out at the pinball sanctioned events and then just wins money on the side. You know, in the side games. Dude,
I started selling shirts.
That's where the money is.
They say IFPA. We took their logo and it says it's fucking pinball, all right. So I've started a war with the IFPA with my Pinball Wrestling Federation. So.
Oh, dude, Chad, there's the beef we were looking for right there. We can't get a podcast to beef with us. Let's start a beef with the pinball.
International flipper.
The flipper boys.
Exactly.
The flipper prouds.
I had professional wrestlers cut promos on them. Like I've fully committed to this shit.
I'm with you, brother. Let's get. Is there a competing pinballing association that we could align ourselves with? The
Attaball Wrestling Federation. The Attaball Wrestling Federation is my premier, one-of-a-kind original.
Attaball.
No. I didn't mean, are you making one from scratch? I meant, is there another
legitimate just think of one right now?
Erickson's not interested in joining a grassroots movement, James.
I want to bandwagon this thing right at the end and act like I've been there the whole time.
You should get in while the fucking going's good, you know? Like, there's no others. We're the only others.
Plug it again. The Attaboy Wrestling Federation?
The Attaboy Wrestling. I think that was the one Andy was a part of when he was 12. I don't know. But no, this is the Attaball Wrestling Federation.
Oh.
So, with pinballwrestling.com. That's where you can find us. Pinball Wrestling. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're in. Fuck the Pinball Association, the IF. What was it? What is it? The other one?
IFPA.
The Flipper? International
Flipper Pinball Association.
Flipper Pinball.
Yep.
Isn't all pinball flipper? Isn't all pinball flipper pinball?
Technically, the original pinball machines didn't have flippers. They were just bumping nuts.
Yeah, but nobody thinks that that's what this is now. They don't need to put the F in there.
There are a lot of things that happened in the 1800s that we still don't reference.
No one's coming to an IFPA event and being like, "Oh, he's using flippers. What a fag!"
Listen, I'm grateful that I learned that you used to just dry hump a pinball machine to play it. There was no buttons, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it was more like Plinko back in the day.
Pachinko, the Pachinko machines, which was a vertical, and they have huge. It's hugely popular in Japan, but we don't stop naming something because we might infringe on Pachinko.
It's true.
That's what you think the International Pachinko Association is like? No, sir.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, these motherfuckers are serious.
Are you IPA or are you IFPA?
I can't believe that the name Pachinko hasn't been brought down as being politically incorrect and racist.
You got to look left and right before you say it.
Oh, and up, because it's a vertical game.
Mostly up. That's the mistake. If you only look left and right.
It's
a lot of guys get busted.
Oh shit!
Well,
hi everybody. Welcome to the Patreon episode here on Issues with Andy.
Thank you guys.
James Fosterman right there. It's always good to see him, a new resident of Eugene, Oregon, playing us in on a.
I'll bring Andy's bike soon. I'll do it.
Yeah.
He had to get his ukulele out of the pawn shop, or he would have never stole that bike.
That's an honest way to go about it.
Burning down the house.
That's a really great detective work on your part, Chad. It's like, wait a minute. The only time we didn't see James with his ukulele was when Andy's bike was missing.
I got to explain something there. I got to explain something to James here, real quietly though. I kicked over your drink
on Mike.
I kicked over
quietly on Mike.
Well, here I kicked over his drink.
Oh,
and I was bossing it. That's why the carpet's wet over there. Not because I'm incontinent. I mean that's a separate issue. But you pour another one.
I think that anybody. I think James.
That's what happened to it.
In the room while you're on a podcast.
This is new terrain to me, man. I don't
podcasting behind enemy lines.
I'm podcasting in the.
He's in the belly of the beast right now.
Well, no. This is the belly of the beast is downstairs.
You're definitely in the danger zone.
This is Greg Brady. This is Greg Brady in the attic. This is Brett Erickson's senior year.
Man. You got Van Halen painted onto your wall.
Brett Erickson, getting its hair dye and then it turns orange. Or was that Greg Brady?
Dude, there was a lot of crazy times.
Yeah, And Robbie Wrist ruined them all. I have a feeling. Bring Robbie Wrist in. I think you'll find out he started the fire in Fresno with his bad rock and roll.
Andy, you've admitted being around at least 3 major fires. You should not be blaming other people.
No,
implicating
no. You know what? I wanted to go do some. Well, it did occur to me that it would be interesting to drive out to Walterville, but I did not because I don't want to take away.
Andy, no one has ever said that in the history of words.
It'll be interesting to drive out to Walterville.
True that. Yeah. Well,
that's the first time. See, this is the positive spin. This is the silver lining for Walterville. Yes, normally that's not something people say, but now that it's a flame, it's an interesting.
And you know what?
That could be a meme.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is the meme, but the reason I'm familiar with that territory is I was like, oh, okay, Kip Kinkle was kind of, he kind of brought this shooting into the he brought it back from the 80s.
Kip Kinkle was like the Buddy Holly of school shootings. Like he didn't get the credit for really making it blow up like Elvis did.
His story
the Columbine kids did. But he was like an early trendsetter.
If you can imagine a kid's school shooting, sequence being kind of the middle of the story. The more sinister thing was he shot his parents individually, one, and then he waited for the mom to get home and he shot her, and then he went to school the next day. That would be your, like, Tarantino would play that all out of sequence and shit. But I went out to the house, I mean, I saw this home video when they did a movie or a thing about him. I forget which one it was, but there's a home video where there was Kip Cagle and his sister, who's a cheerleader, and she was like in high school and she was doing cheers, and then he did some clumsy fucking dumbass cartwheel behind it, and the dad goes, "Hey, knock it off, Kip." You could just see, him, and
trying for attention and getting nothing but your sister's great and you suck.
Right. And that's the picture on the left. That's he blasted his mom and dad, that fucking kid. So, but I went out to that house a few years ago just to get, to see it. And then, I don't know. I've been to several, I slept outside of the Benet Ramsey house. I went out to the Kip Cagle residence.
There's no statute of limitations on the John
I hope
Benet
it wasn't. I hope it wasn't Christmas Eve in the early '90s, Andy.
No way, man. I had no connection out there. But Mishka was out there.
Andy's a purist.
I think Mishka was doing odd jobs. And shirtless odd jobsmen out there in Boulder at the time. But I was nowhere near there. But I did. And also Jeffrey Dahmer's. I've been, where his apartment was razzed, but they had sticks that marked it. And it was like, I got the general idea.
Razzed. It was
his apartment was razzed.
They did like.
Here's the thing. Here's my justification.
No matter.
Hey,
if I have to flee here, there's gonna be a lot of people leaving their places. So a few drinks is just gonna help me calm down, and deal with what's going on.
You're going to need that vodka energy to drive yourself and your family and James.
If a cop were to pull me over in such a thing under such duress, and I'm not even good with a fire extinguisher, but I have one in my car ready to blow, and I figured I'd take the ring off of it and get familiar with it just in case. So that would be like, officer, I would have cooperated. Oops.
You should do that, by the way.
Are your eyes? Yeah, no, I'm planning on it. I mean,
you need to be ready, man.
Aim at the
I
base.
ain't going back to court. Go back to court, man.
Andy just did his. They'll never take me alive, Ma.
This is going to be used as evidence that it wasn't a crime of passion, that it was actually
I'm the
premeditated.
only one who's clearly getting a message that we have to start turning this shit around now. And I got to go after the top turkey in charge of brass. I'm trying to be tactful here.
Really? This is tactful?
The top turkey in charge of brass?
There's a guy who's trying to kill us, directly trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Indifferent to it. We're at right now at Dante's Peak, and I got no Linda Hamilton. So I'm just Pierce Brosnan driving around with nothing. So I'm going to go all Bond.
We talked a lot about turkeys on this. I mean, we have turkeys eating the beaks of other turkeys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a confusing message.
Here's a cool thing I saw, man. It was just a split second. And if you want to get inside the head of Andy Andrus, I saw a bunch of turkeys, and I saw them. They were all staring at this car. And then I looked at one, and I didn't have my camera going then either. And if I tried to, it wouldn't have happened. But there was a fucking turkey who was staring at his reflection in the bumper of a car. It was like a shiny bumper. That turkey was like fucking kind of squaring off on it, like there's gonna be trouble. And I stopped and I looked at that, and it just made me happy. Like there is some hope for after humanity.
Yeah.
The turkeys will do that shit, and it'll just be ridiculous. And there won't be anybody to even see it as anything. It'll just there ain't no people.
After we're gone, the turkeys will still be fighting reflections of themselves like we were never here.
I soaked most of that up with my pants. This is the second spill, man. I've been in here for 2 months and there hasn't been a spill. I invite the bike thief. I'm nervous about confronting him with the security footage.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Oh shit.
I think
That
if you
whack
actually, I think Andy just wanted to say that if he actually has security footage, he would be way more.
Yeah. No, I
Now
think
he's trying to like make him.
gauging it. I'm
you're
gauging
not
it.
gonna
Like,
pull
hey,
off.
hey,
If he
listen,
actually
Dustin.
has
Somebody
security
took a
footage.
cookie out of that cookie jar, and I got nanny camera. He didn't flinch, so he's either real good at this, like he's way better than Clarence when he got interviewed about the theft of the sports room at LBCC Community College when I was just a young upstart thief.
When all the dirty,
Underpants.
the
No, that
sweaty
was a
girls'
different one.
underpants
Well,
got.
Community college, we broke into the room. We went over. We had the key to. We didn't break in. That's a key element, and it was a long time ago. But we went in. Well, I guess I was compromised. I was a security guard who let people.
You're also a scorekeeper who gave other people fake stats.
37
really
rebounds. The
trusted
guy
on the
never
11.
played.
You know what the opposite
wasn't
of a
even on the
racist
team.
is?
He just
You know
wanted
what
the
the
jacket.
opposite of a racist is? It's somebody like a guy who maybe not gay, but I had chocolate fever, and I let those guys come up with plans.
Who said gay?
So well, no. So you're saying that you also you wanted to vie for the affection of the black guys because that was like the cool thing to do. We all went through that phase. That's a white guy thing to do. To like,
not fair to go like I invited you guys in on these scams, and then on your scams I can't go. So we ripped off my own camp, and
they didn't reciprocate with a little bit for the doctor.
A lot of people had the key. That's the problem. You cannot. That's the thing. But then that's why it got touchy. Clarence went in, got interviewed, and then when I talked to Floyd, or Spoons as we called him, he said Clarence is in there singing like a bitch. That's the first hint of trouble I had. Like, this is like the other day at community college where I just pick up a check and lie to people and skip class. This is actually a day where the trouble's coming to get me, and it did. I had, I had to, I got interviewed, and Steve was plenty pissed, and he was pointing the finger at me, and
Steve.
he was the guy, and he's the guy Steve was the guy who got fucked over and all this. That's what Steve.
A key character.
Yeah.
He's the patsy.
I was the
other white guy who was one level down.
He's They offered two deals.
Brother.
If I want to play a lot of white man privilege cards, I had a lot of tragedy in my youth, and when I got to community college, I was lucky to even be upright, let alone expected to be sober or whatever. And I got some grant money, which is fucking what grants, So I got into the narcotics a lot, and the explosives were right there, and I had a bad attitude at community college.
Narcotics always next to explosives.
The explosives were right there.
I had a lot of M80s, and then I thought, man, I just want one of those now, or a couple of those, for the anyway. It's always good to have a light amount of explosives.
Especially when a fire is bearing down on your condo.
Yeah, well, you want people to know that you're serious.
There won't be any question.
Yeah, when the fires rage up the hill, they'll be going, "Who shot off that fucking mortar? That was beautiful."
It'll be like Beirut.
Yeah, I got Thomas on the roof playing, burning down the house, trying to amplify it. But, once electricity goes, that's what we're all, that's when the looting starts. That's when I go get TVs from the rich.
Oh, you have TVs? I saw.
I got a pretty good one. I could upgrade, but
you don't even want to steal a TV anymore because they're big and they're cheap. So you can get a big giant TV for like $500. So if you're gonna loot some rich guy's house, steal something else. What else would be a better deal than the TV? There's got to be something
TV
better
worth
than
stealing's not going to fit through the dog door.
that. Well, there's that.
So I mean,
But even if you could get it through, it would be heavy, and that would be the only thing you could carry for sure.
I take umbrage with that. I just got a 65-inch TV. Guess
Well,
how much it weighs hanging off
okay.
the wall? Guess.
5 pounds.
65-inch.
yeah,
What'd you
I'd
say?
say 6
5.
pounds.
6
135 pounds naked,
Dripping wet.
dripping wet after trying to
6
drown it.
pounds? You think a TV weighs 6 pounds?
I think it only
I
weighed
don't know.
5.
5 pounds?
21. Wait, no. What was the highest bid?
I have a 65-inch TV, and Andy's going to bid $1.
Yeah, 1% over what Brett said.
I bid 1 pound. Shaylee invites him up to the stage to play the next game.
Come
You
on
won.
up.
You got it.
I don't know. I have to lift my 65-inch TV sometimes
I'm
to
from
move
Topeka.
80
I'm
of
sure
my
it's
cables.
light. I
It's
guess
like 5 or 6 pounds. It's really light.
what I really meant was that
5 or 6? 5 or 6? Wait, it's 65-inch, not a 6-inch.
Whatever.
65.
oh, how much does it weigh? Just
65. How much
How
does
much?
a 65? It's bigger than the TV in the funhouse, Chad.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
much does that weigh? You said 5 pounds.
I
or
said
6
25
pounds?
pounds. 25.
All right, this has gone horribly wrong.
Uh,
47 pounds. When it
That's
pretty
a
heavy.
heavy ass fucking TV. What is
It's
that?
heavy,
Rear
dude.
projection?
What does Derek weigh? Just for comparison, Derek said
That's a half a Derek.
that's 2.5 Derek's. So that lady, here's what I'm wondering.
Chad wins, by the way. He didn't go over.
I really meant in the whole thing that if you're looting, they're just too big and bulky. Not that they're actually the heaviness of it.
Well, I
Like
mean-
that'd be all you could get. You know, you couldn't get anything else. And for $500, you can just go buy a TV. So if you're gonna loot the rich, there's got to be stuff you can grab that's
No, I
gonna be
think-
better for your looting
I'd never
dollar.
be able to
No.
do
Think
it.
about
you know?
the act of looting. You're going through probably broken some kind of like we've broken into this area. So you've broken through a
This-
window or some kind of wall
And-
or some kind of door, and you're gonna try and go out with a 65 6
No, I think that
and get out of there unscathed.
No, I
Yeah.
think
Never
this isn't
want-
robbery, Shaylee. This is
See?
like we're saying that this is the revolution has happened, and we're kicking in the doors of all of the rich people, and the proletariat is coming. So you could get it out the front door. That wouldn't be any problem. But it's just that's all you're going to be able to carry.
Yeah.
And
It's a rushed movement. You don't want anything delicate. You want to go for money,
Yeah.
diamonds.
yeah, you want to grab jewelry.
Honestly, I want my bike.
You can just
kinda-
roll out
You know
of it.
what?
I'm
It's
like the
gonna be
Rain
like-
Man
Wait.
when it comes to material possessions. I only want what I just lost, and then I focus on that. And I'm bummed about that. But if I was in some rich guy's house or something, I'd be like, "Oh, cool, that's similar." But I wouldn't take it from I'd want to know. I'd look at it. I'd have to see and go, "Oh man, he ain't even ridden this. This is 3 years old." Then take it, or something like that. I'd justify it, which I can't. Anyway, fuck it. I don't.
I
But
hope you get your
I don't-
bike
but
back, man. I think that in the movie of your
I'll
life,
never-
there's always going to be. It's like in the Wizard of Oz when she kept seeing the Wicked Witch of the West riding the bike. Like there's always going to be someone riding a bike in the background of your life. Now.
I've got-
You're always going to be seeing.
got-
You're always going to be looking for that bike.
from the
He's
people
gonna-
who listen to this podcast, I've gotten donations that equal a bike or more from people, not necessarily on this. I mean, not now. I mean, I spent it on drugs.
Totally.
You can't-
Well,
Right.
that's what they
you know,
gave it to you for. So there's
my
nothing wrong
God.
with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, but I mean, so I kind of feel like, it's a bummer. I lost that bike, but I'll be on a trail on something eventually, and I am going to report it, once the fire, I'll see what happens. Fire sweep down here, I won't worry about pursuing the matter criminally. I'll just add it to the list of the other. Good times, right? They never said the end time was so hilarious. Like, hey, the hot pocket guy's coming out political.
Yeah, you've got the hot pocket guy pissed
You know?
off.
Yeah.
The good Catholic.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure as a good Catholic, his plate ain't exactly without some stains.
No.
So-
A lot of jelly-filled donuts.
Oh man.
If only we could all be the Beaver Cleaver father that we were.
Ward.
Yeah, Ward. Ward was probably that guy or whatever. But for the most part, if someone perceived as like, oh, he's a great guy and middle of the road family guy or whatever, you're like, oh, dear God, he's murdered some people or whatever.
What did Ward Cleaver do for work? Is that a thing?
What's that?
I don't remember
what did he do
what
for
Ward
work.
did
I don't know that they ever went that deep in his character.
Oh,
he just worked at work.
Yeah,
he
he
went
went
to
to
work.
work. Right.
come on,
Yeah.
you got a
Physics
gig, didn't you?
job, like an engineer or something.
Yeah,
No,
probably.
a stand-up comic who did dead-on impressions of President Nixon.
President Nixon.
Well, who was
Yeah,
president?
Nixon. Well, it would have been Eisenhower. So Nixon would have been the vice president, actually. Then.
Oh, so
He
he's
was-
killing
So
it.
he
you know?
was doing vice president impressions. That's why he couldn't get out of fucking Cleaverland.
He was always on the road. That's why his boys were out of control, fucking hanging out with Eddie Haskell and whatnot.
Eddie
Here's
Haskell.
here's the Wikipedia on Ward Cleaver. He works for a big company with main offices in New York City. He drives to work in his Plymouth unless June needs the car during the
Bodies
day
in the
for an
trunk.
errand.
Bodies in the
He is
trunk.
home on weekends for golfing at a local country club. Occasionally, Ward is required to do some office work at home.
Yes. Look,
He had-
that
he
is
has
the
a wife.
American dream.
He has a
That's
feared
it.
wife.
Yeah.
He's gone for long stretches. Trouble alone, back from the war. Oh my God.
And Andy, you said last week that it was, the Flintstones and the Jetsons were both the same story. They just got a better car. They were always oppressed, but Ward Cleaver was not. He was living the best life. He had a fucking beautiful wife. He had a couple of tow-headed kids.
This
He
is
had a
not
good
my
job.
beautiful wife.
Came home.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a show where Eddie Haskell walks in and catches Ward with some evil shit, and then Ward's trying to kill Eddie, but he kills Eddie's parents, kills Eddie's grandpa, like a whole fucking slasher where fucking Ward Cleaver is the most evil son of a bitch you could, father
Eddie.
and
Eddie catches him looking at some child porn, but nobody believes Eddie because he's always running scams. So everybody thinks he's just being a dick because Ward yelled at him one time because he was being a dick, and now everyone doesn't believe Eddie, but really Ward is a fucking dirty pedo.
Yeah, everybody who reads
man.
everybody who reads the
You're
paper is
besmirching
like,
the
holy
names.
shit, how could we miss
How
it?
did
Well,
we
he
not
did
see
name
it?
his kid Beaver. His kid's named an offensive term. Even 20
Knowing
years
his last name is Cleaver, he called that son of a bitch Beaver. That's even worse.
Yeah, his name. It's not. We'll call it. His name's Theodore, but we're all gonna call him Beaver. Don't even call him Theodore. Not even at school.
Well, no one
He
would.
yelled at his mother.
Oh, his teacher called him Theodore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
that's
Yeah.
because. Yeah.
That's why he was in love with her.
Only because
Yeah.
Ward had to take off for New York City to pursue other
To do some work for the big company.
And he couldn't take the Plymouth.
Yeah.
It sounds
Cleaver-
like a
Cleaver,
kid
independently wealthy, lied to a family, he had several he called them pods, and he bounced around. He was like that fucking Charles Kuralt dude. He had like 4 families on the road.
Oh,
That's what
shit.
they're like. How does this old guy find
This Morning America, Charles Kuralt?
across the
America swallowed it up?
my
And I love that
God.
because it's like a dude who's working the road and he's fucking broads, but he's taking it a step too far and making families and shit. And he's up and going, I got to hit the road. And then he's like, it gets confusing. Where's my bag? Or who's that? It's like, is that my kid?
That makes sense, Andy. That's why he called him Beaver. Like he had one kid named Ostrich, one was Hippopotamus. He had fucking
Chad, I fucking love you. I was like, That's why he called him that. Like I was thinking of the guy in Reservoir Dogs who gave everybody the name of the color, and he's like, "Why do I gotta be Mr. Pink?
Here's what
They already got a pink on another job."
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm
"Oh,
thinking,
man, why do I
this-
have to be called Beaver? Because I already got an ostrich, and he's a kid over in Sacramento. You're Beaver Cleaver."
You're
I'm
not
gonna take.
messing this up.
I'm
see?
gonna take it a step for in a different direction here. I feel like we got it in a nice direction, but here, one kid's named Beaver, the other's Nipples, the other's Fat Ass, the other's
This is
Snatch.
Andy,
You know,
Andy, I
it's like
get it
named
now.
from
It's
after
getting
the
to
mother.
those now in
Let's
2020.
Let's go with
Back
Now
then
Ostrich.
it was a different time.
now
Different
it's on-
time.
Neighborhood gets progressively
Zebras, he's-
worse as the name gets more vulgar.
Do you remember this guy's name? Was that Lumpy
Wally.
That's
Rutherford?
Lumpy.
Wally. Or no,
Clarence.
Lumpy, or Clarence.
Oh,
Clarence?
Lumpy was
Yeah.
Beaver's
Lump-
friend.
No, Lumpy was
No,
that's
no.
Lumpy right there, and his
Yep.
name was His name was Clarence Rutherford.
You know what's funny in the dark screenplay is when Ward hits him in the head with a shovel and calls him a lump of shit. You fucking lump of shit. And then he buries him.
And he buries him, and that's what
Wally
Eddie
watches
sees.
it. Yeah.
And
So
that's
he
what
made Eddie
sees.
bury him.
No, Eddie sees that, and he starts telling everybody, but everybody thinks Clarence just took off and he left town because he was talking about leaving town because he was sick of everybody.
Yeah.
So they think he just left town, but Eddie's trying to convince everybody that Ward actually killed him with a shovel in the backyard. He saw it.
I wonder if you
And
could
everyone's
actually,
like, "Eddie, you're a
you could
fucking
probably
asshole."
do it with these guys, those guys, and then use the scenes and just cheat enough of it so that they're fucking lumpy dialogue and everything.
Yeah.
Gee, you think so? Yeah. You fucking cut her up, man.
I don't know, Wally. Yeah, I don't
You
know.
better not tell Dad. Right.
Yeah.
Just
Gee, you think
Well,
Dad would get
I think
upset?
so. We need to
yeah,
tell
Dad
Mom,
cut her
Paul.
up. Oh, gee, Dad's a real bummer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we, let's
That's a
call
good project, actually.
Yeah.
I think people are going to need to last post-COVID once we have to slaughter that indecent animal. Come on.
I got that one.
I have
Yeah,
no
it's
idea
gonna
where
ha-
Andy just went.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's there's
He's
a
gotta
animal
be.
in my
He's got to.
neighborhood.
He's
that's
got to be
dead.
put down like.
Gee, Wally, do you
like
think we have
old
to? You think we really have to?
I don't know,
Ed?
Wally.
Yeah,
Do we,
so
should we
liberation.
really cut his head off? We've already killed him.
It's okay. Well, you can really get into doing white guy voices now. That's it. You can't.
It's the only one I'm good at.
I started doing another one. I'm like, ooh, nope. Did you really think we should burn all the black people, Wally?
Oh, come on, Beeve. Don't talk like that.
I don't think so.
I don't
They're
think
pretty
there
good
were
people.
any black people on Leave It to Beaver.
No.
Oh my God. No
You
way.
know why?
No way.
Because
No way.
they kept driving. The sheriff was on the outside.
Because the sheriff ran a tight town. That's
This
why.
is a little known fact.
There's a
They were on the edge of
downtown.
Hazard County. That's North
Yeah.
Carolina. Up through
What
the.
if that was Hazard County and like Beaver is the guy who turned into Cooter?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like they're just younger. That looks
Yeah.
kind of Hazard County-ish.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks middle America.
Yeah, you ever
Yeah.
seen downtown
They
Hazard?
did?
They got a town square and everything.
Yep. Middle America really
It
needs
was-
to be able to suck its own dick for us to get out of this whole mess. That's what I feel like. It's like we're never
Yeah,
going to get
well.
there. But,
Yeah.
those people are so fucked up. If they could only suck their own dick, then maybe the energy that would feed off itself.
They
You know?
stop paying attention to the news.
Forget
and vote.
solar. Forget solar.
Solar.
Solar doesn't work when
So-
the sun's blocked by smoke, yo.
Basically, Andy, you
I'm
just
gonna tell
pitched
my
the
friends
idea.
The idea, let's keep the idea of the sun close to us.
It's so fucking smoky. I saw your pictures, Andy. That's insane. And it's incredibly smoky here, but it's really weird watching you guys be on fire while our dry ass just sits over here not on fire at all. You feel like it feels like you're went shoplifting with your friends and they all got caught and you're just still trying to walk out like
Here's a.
I know. I don't know.
Everything's fine.
I
Everything's
think
fine.
I'm probably gonna get busted any fucking minute here.
Yeah.
I expect our state to be on fire at any fucking time.
But
Yeah.
we have less to burn. There's like a lot of the problem, like Erickson alluded to in the previous the
Gotta
Freeloader
rake the
podcast, is it we have a fire suppression in California that has been really effective over the past 40 years, and that's not the way that state existed before people lived there. Fire was part of the way of burning the brush that accumulated under the trees, and the trees could handle it. The houses can't.
And you're exactly right. So that's what's happened in the few fires that are here. Like in my hometown, there was like 3 or 4 fires, and it's like on my way to go over to see you guys earlier, I saw there's like weeds 9 feet tall just on the sides of the road that is just a fire. But the thing is it'll burn through so fast that the mesquite trees won't even be they'll be singed, but the fire won't last through all of that. So in the lowlands,
the fire over at the low spot going from Bisbee over to Sierra Vista, not your way, but on our road. Yeah. There is a huge stand of cottonwood trees that run all the way down into Mexico, and it's along the San Pedro River. And there was a fire there maybe 4 weeks ago, and everything has grown back. And we had you couldn't even drive through there because they were blocking it off. But that area is used to that as a way of knocking down the weeds and knocking down all of the shit that shouldn't
part
be
of the
there.
natural cycle there.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Indians were taking care of that, but you know, we're starting to sound a little bit. You know, I hate to sound like the manager for the Titanic band, but you know, like, hey, come on, people have enough on their minds.
Yeah. Just keep playing.
Talk about, you know, shit melt. Yeah, keep playing. Hey, you come on. You got any funny one-liners work really?
Oh, Andy,
you know,
I read
the bees have less to do, so they're going into my thing, and the birds. Well, I like their singing, but sometimes they repeated the same song a lot. Now they're singing elsewhere. So that's a positive. The crickets are still chirping, but they're chirping in a more deadly tone. And and the bats have given up looking for bugs because they're gone. Anyway, I think we're good, you know.
It'll be fine.
I'll be selling T-shirts with this image on them pretty soon. Unless that place burns. But they'll have to deliver shirts even if their factory burns. I don't know.
What?
Asking.
No, I think if we see an image of a fire from Oregon and there's a FedEx truck and we see it's on fire in the middle of the road, and we, you know, thank God we saw the driver leap to safety and run into the arms of his loving wife, but his truck was consumed in fire, and we think, oh no, Andy's shirt.
Here you go. I'm gonna say this. Like people say this, fuck cancer, fuck fire. Fuck fire. Big fire.
One of the basic things humans need to live. Yeah, good idea.
Well,
fuck air. Hey, let's fuck air and fuck water
fire
too.
fucks air.
Oh no! Hey, by the way, air and fire are working together. They're in on it.
Fire fucks air. Air fucks. I don't know. You guys come up with some shit. You know, I can't do.
Yeah.
I'm under duress.
I was up heavy lifting.
I was up on my roof hosing down.
Well,
I was
water
doing a lot
fucks
of
fire.
But I filled the
Wait.
bathtub up.
So
Put all the electronics.
Wait, rock kills scissors.
Well, yeah. So no. So air. So fire beats air, but water beats fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that air has to beat water. Right.
That's a meme if I ever heard one.
I got a full night ahead of me, guys.
Write it down, buddy.
And guys, give me 15 milligrams of Adderall and some tequila.
No, yeah, could you send that my way
You're
too?
already there.
I'm like I slept all day. Like, well, also being out in this heavy smoke, there was like I saw an air thing, and there was no good choices. It's like fucking, you know, completely don't be outside, don't any of that shit. And I was outside, but I do find this is like it's a natural sleep aid.
Like
Just
death?
Yeah.
No,
Death?
because you have to stay inside all the time.
no, I was outside a lot, but I'd do stuff outside, and then after a while, I'd come in, and they said, like I saw a news thing, and it said it like some of the symptoms are similar to COVID. Like I got most of this, but my eyes are a little red. Yes, Chuck.
Can't feel your toes.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little smoky out, officer. Yeah, my eyes are. None of that. I mean, everybody's got
You're
bigger
used to
fish.
this line of questioning.
Everybody's got bigger fish to watch fry on the side of the road right now. That's the thing about climate change. They don't tell you. It's kind of like you just got to be your own authority. It's total bedlam out here. We don't have enough people to fight fires, but they're beating the shit out of the fucking hippies in Portland. I mean, we have a situation going on in this country where there's a bunch of federally trained thugs that are willing to suppress people's freedom at the minute's notice in one place with fucking hundreds of them. And the fucking McKenzie fucking river is being overrun with fire, and there's not enough firefighters. I'm thinking about getting a gig. I got a few joints. I got a respirator.
Is that really a thing, Andy? There's not enough firefighters, or are they just
There's
letting?
not
a lot
enough
of times,
anywhere.
There's not enough a lot of times that's how you fight fires.
Our governor,
they
who's
back
a bisexual,
burn and they dig trenches, but you let.
No, they're
burn.
overrun right now.
Yeah, Kate Brown got on. I didn't see it, but my neighbor told me, well, here's the thing that happened right here. And there's two squirrels. I call one of them Brittany. There's twins. There's two of them, April and Brittany, and they're both kind of feeble fucking squirrels that wander around. They're gray squirrels, which I've never really gotten to know. But I've got these two, and they're skittish, but I give them water because they need water. And my neighbor lady called and said one of them's out there dead. And I was like, motherfucker, I just gave him a scone. I hope the cheese, So I went out there.
Hey, you gave a squirrel a cheese scone, and then you got a report that it died, and you're like, hold on, I just gave him a cheese scone.
I hope
Something
they can't.
from his
I didn't lump
natural
down
habitat.
cheesecake. I gave him a little bit crumble. I
hope they can't trace that scone back to me.
Oh
Listen,
my God.
Got my
Wait, did I touch the scone with my bare hands? Oh fuck.
Mrs. Kravitz next door was watching through binoculars, watch you feed the fucking scone. That's why that squirrel is dead now. I hope you're happy.
Only saw you feed that squirrel and then it died. What are you, something creepy?
That's totally it.
Anyway, but it was
You're a warlock.
I walked out there and it did look to be in distress, but I mean, it's just a lot of fucking dust and shit around here. And then I put some water out for it, and then the neighbor donated some grapes and stuff, and they were hanging out, and I was like, come on down, but I was like, I don't want to be pushy, but
wait, you invited neighbors to your yard?
Squirrels I invited the squirrels down
you
to the.
You should put water out. That is the thing you're supposed to do, correct?
I put water out for these squirrels.
Lots of water out for the animals.
April and Brittany, they hang out over in that corner and then they eat what's out there, but they're kind of feeble fucks. So I'm like, but then this one she said was dead out there. And I was like, so I ran out there. I got a little footage of it, but then I just got first aid to it. She took off.
That's the most important thing, Andy.
Yeah. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like Sean Penn out there. I don't want to be like Sean Penn going, hey, CNN, I'm out here in a boat, you fucks. Hey, Spicoli's riding shotgun in a rescue boat. You think that might merit some airtime?
Shaylee, what's that? That's terrible. Is that a dead? You just do dead squirrel?
Well, they're gonna. That's the thing, though. So that's when if I was on mushroom.
But that one you can see the tire tracks going right through the squirrel.
Yeah.
The thing though that hit
his little paw. His little paw is really
maybe
sad.
it's brutal,
man.
Maybe because I'm an nature jacker.
Come on,
whatever.
Man.
Maybe because these areas are familiar to me. But I seeing my feeble little squirrels this far away from the fire, and they need help. I was like, God damn it, man! This thing's wiping out fucking everything. Anyway.
Well,
hit the gift shop. Hit the t-shirt shop on the way out, motherfuckers.
Stop in the gift shop.
Yeah, I'm ripping off Todd Snyder. I love that Chad's listening to Todd Snyder.
Yeah.
And I still haven't listened to the one, and I'm going to listen to Doug's book on tape, but I'm planning on driving to Montana, which every fucking rising spark looks more and more like unlikely. Like it'll be lucky I make it to Branson Jankathon out there in Branson, you know.
The Jankathon is going to be your next trip out, I'm afraid.
I'm up against Gabe
put that in your head.
I'm against Gabe Cotter in the first round of the joke off.
Well,
I mentioned relatives. That was my rule. And his rule was I couldn't mention gambling. So
and his rule was always hit on 6. Always hit on 16. 6. Drunk. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think you're headed to Montana, brother, but you know, I hope the fire doesn't get close to you.
As it burns. Like the easy rider with a fucking apocalyptic fucking edge to it. I can ride a motorcycle. Not really.
I don't think. I mean, listen.
When I rode a motorcycle,
Jeff
Abbey was also a dick. Fuck you, Jeff Abbey. Anyway, Jeff Abbey goes, you know, and here's a get on the bike and he taught you throttle and all that shit. He didn't say nothing about no brake. And then I went across.
You didn't ask?
Had a long driveway.
But wouldn't you want to know how to stop something if they told you how to make it go?
What? Yeah.
He didn't say, Shaylee.
Here's okay, we're in the after hours party.
If that was a thing, you would have told me.
I'd go stay overnight. Jeff Abbey liked to invite people overnight.
I'm not worried.
And it's it's like a real 70, anyway, his mom had a massage unit and Jeff Abbey would go, would lay on it.
Andy, what's a massage unit?
Oh, like a little square thing with porno magazine. It's like I was already like fucking into porn. He would have us. Yeah, we'd go in his mom's room and then put down a square unit individually.
Just plugged into like the wall.
I love how Andy thinks we all know exactly.
I love how he thinks
talking about.
I want to know so bad about this.
A square unit, a massage unit, a square one.
A unit is like a word
not
that
the
isn't.
triangle one.
This is the first person who taught me how to fuck a machine. Or the machine fucked me.
You're just
like
creating
that.
more questions.
Gotcha.
Those are
Basically,
like,
if I would have
laid
a device. Here's the thing.
Erickson, take
I
control.
had it all there.
Erickson,
It was a device.
get to the.
Hang on. I had it all there. The electric football. All I had to do was clear the players from the field and lay on it. That's what his thing was. It was a little, like the 50-yard line. It's basically the 50-yard line. But it was the same technology. If a boy had just gone, fuck it, man, I'm done with
giant
football.
Vibrator.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
and then
You
but fuck
don't think you could offer that as an explanation for what you're talking about? Don't
that,
you see?
but basically
Is it
my
just
friend
that-
goes, here, lay on this thing, and then and he's had porno magazines. Like, okay, all right, and it's like, whoa, come right away like that. That handicapped guy, worked all evening on that, and then couldn't make it happen.
See, I'm still picturing like a giant hot plate that you put under your ass that vibrates while you jerk off. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be picturing in this story.
This is what they were laying on.
Right on it, flat. I think he's laying. You lay your junk right on it, like you just lay on top, like you make love to the table.
Yeah, but like that's what it was, a vibrator.
Yeah.
Was it
battery
or
I
was it
discovered
plugged
the
into
same
the
thing
wall?
when I
Was
had
it a flat surface like that? It was for a woman,
It
right?
was a unit.
Was there a
It was
mound?
a unit.
A
You ever
square
been
unit.
into a off-balance washing machine? It's like, whoa, hey, take it easy.
Wait, hold on. Off-balance washing machine is totally different than anything we've been talking about.
A unit.
I'm talking about
square
machines
unit.
manipulating
Square unit.
us sexually.
Or-
It's been going on for years. Now we're burning. Wake up, America! Come on, sheeple. You live.
I'm never gonna know. I've just resigned myself that I'm never gonna know. That's all.
Look, here's the best part about it, Chad, is that these sort of things are revealed to us episodically.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know what I
months
mean?
later,
Could come at a later time.
This is
I
going to
won't
be
give up
something
totally,
that will-
Erickson. You're right.
Yeah, we'll loop back on the square unit of sex, and because I am intrigued as well, my friend. That seems like something.
Intrigued and bewildered.
Yeah, this podcast is heading into the refugee territory pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'll be contacting you from a camp.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing about this podcast, everybody, and that's why you need to be, you need to always be re-upping on your $5 a month, because it could end at any time. Who knows when the fires take us all?
I'm asking the government to send me to one of them WAP camps that I've been hearing about.
WAP?
So yeah.
Wet-ass pussy?
Yeah.
I love how Shaylee fell for it like an old grandpa.
I don't know what that is.
You like fish sticks?
Shaylee, you don't meme. You memed more, Shaylee. You know all about wet-ass pussy.
Here's the rectangle football game Andy was laying
I used
on.
to be great at that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God.
my dad had the head-to-head one that you could play when you stood 2 fucking feet from each other. Yep.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
big time, man. That's what I mean. That really was the forerunner. Thinking about it now, like late 70s, sitting in the back seat of the car playing that. It's just beeping, red lights flashing. To think about how much of a forerunner that is to every kid's life now. Like even we wonder about kids looking at their phone all the time. That was good enough for me.
That was the beginning.
Just red lights flashing.
Little
in
dash.
I was happy. I couldn't be pulled from it. So to think a kid is not going to want to listen to your dumb stories about your life in the car, instead look at their phone. I mean, there's no way.
I remember seeing TV Pong at its first appearance. It was at Ben Franklin's store, the one that guy accused me of stealing stuff because I did, and I chased back around. But anyway, I remember seeing that thing, and then me and my brother played it. It was like I was better. It was one of the first things I was better than my brother at, and then life caught up.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm sure he kneecapped you at his first opportunity. If you were better than him, my brother Jeff. We're talking about Jeff, right?
Yeah, Jeff was such a fucking my brother Jeff talks shit. Like he was Gary Payton of our driveway, and and then when I turned the tide where I finally started beating him was when he started quitting, and but he was such a fucking asshole about things. But I remember beating him at TV Pong. I was a little. But it was unlike ping pong where I was kind of the John McEnroe. Like he would talk shit, I would start losing, and then I would start hitting the ball like 100 feet over his head, make him go get it a bunch, and then I would break a racket and storm off.
Hit it into the line judge's throat.
He was a poor winner, and I was a poor loser. And we were poor. It worked out, We got government cheese because of it. We didn't have to audition. We were like, they just drew out cheese on their delivery route.
Are you talking about Andy?
Pong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pong.
Yeah, that one. What year did that come out?
I actually know the answer to this because I saw this on Jeopardy a couple of nights ago, and it is 1972 was when that was invented or made. Yeah. The category was the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to the pizza place near our where we lived in Fullerton, California. I remember putting quarters into a machine to play this game over.
That's crazy.
Wow!
I don't remember it in the arcade. I remember
it was a tabletop game. Tabletop game.
I'm a little bit younger than you guys, and my first introduction to it was with the Atari console that had Pong with the little things, and then it had tanks that you could drive around.
But and that was the first one. That was the first console, but you could get Pong for your TV as just Pong.
Wow,
that's all it was. That was the first time you ever saw. Change it to channel 3. Because back in the day, we had 3 channels, and you had to physically change the channel, and this involved changing it to a channel that didn't come in as a TV station. So already you knew some fucking witchcraft was going on. Like, oh shit, this is going to be badass. Yeah. And then it would come in and you'd see the little things, and then you had just the controller, but it didn't exist as anything other than Pong. That was the only game it was.
Yeah, and that was like
2600. That was a big move.
I think that's the one we got there, Shaylee, and then I played like Frogger, Pitfall. Those a bunch of good.
Yeah, those came a few years later. For
Centipede.
I never got the only one I was like sort of into at Denny's Pizza. They had the asteroids, but then like Lizard would put his quarter down, and then it was like too long to wait. Lizard or
Frog.
Lizard was the guy who threatened to burn my family out. Lizard.
Who's Lizard?
Go back.
Is this
Lizard.
a new character in the Andy Anderson universe?
Well, there was a Lizard who's up at Lizard was a guy who sold me LSD, but the guy from my hometown we called Lizard. One time I gave him a ride. My friend gave me a ride, and he said he didn't like that he was named Lizard, and he said he was gonna maybe burn my house down. And then that was the first time I thought maybe I'll have to kill this guy.
I might have to kill Lizard.
Yeah, but he was talking shit.
Maybe he's finally like making his threat come true.
Well,
in 2020.
He was like, I try not to hate people and think back
6 miles away.
A lot of times I hated people, and it was like I hated people for the wrong reason. But I think I hated Lizard. He had a hair lip, and that's not it. It wasn't a hair lip, but we just didn't get along.
You went with Lizard, and he had a hair lip?
Yeah. Well, I didn't name him.
Your dad should have named him.
My dad would have labeled him.
His tongue probably flicked out a lot to wet his
but
hair
lip.
Bifurcated tongue in the junior high.
Lizard the lip.
But as far as I know, his family is still owns the bakery in town. So but I never know what happened to Lizard. He said, but he did threaten to burn my family out. But I remember the only reason that's how somebody fell on a fire that night, but it wasn't me. Anyway,
threw themselves on it like in a valiant act.
Forget that part of it. But yeah, I was at one of those cool high school dazed and confused keggers out in the brush, big bonfire, fucking.
No one fell into a fire.
Somebody fell into a fire, and then. But anyway, me and Doug, my friend Doug Sherwood, brought Lizard back into town, and at that time, Lizard said he didn't like me. He didn't like. Well, he kind of he knew where I lived, and he'd burn my family out.
He made threats.
If I didn't give him, I was like, we're giving this guy a ride home, and I looked at my friend Doug, who seemed oblivious to my let's pull off and murder him. I nudge, and I'm not even that guy, but it's it's like when
he made threats.
Yeah, let's just take care of this now while it's fresh.
Yeah, let's nip this in the bud.
Yeah. Like every Andy Andrews story, I like that this went from we were at a party with a bonfire, and then we were driving home, and a guy wanted to burn my house down. Like nothing else happened in between that. Yeah. Andy did not piss this guy off to a point that he wanted to burn his house down and had no other recourse than to say so.
One of them two kids down, and it wasn't like an Eagles song.
This is how guys get. This is how guys fall into a bonfire.
Yeah,
Andy's behind him going, he threatened me.
He was like Squint, coming to town with an attitude and needed a nickname. I didn't label him, I wasn't one of them guys. I was the soft. I wasn't a bully or anything. When it's called Lizard, I would pick up on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
So now Lizard's got to go hang out with Squint in the fucking
Hall of Fame.
In the room with the rejects.
There is a Kokio Hall of Fame, and I'd like to add him to it, but it's like, I'll have to do my own. John Lindgren, he smashed a car, and he's still alive. He rescued a burning building from people.
He's false testimony.
I think that made sense.
Yeah,
I'm sure it did.
But I don't want to repeat it for fear of being mocked.
I fucking love you. All right, let's go live our lives, gentlemen.
Can we
Yeah.
close
It's been a
out?
lot of fun. Yeah.
We got to hang out a minute.
I don't know what I need.
He's tossing off in the bathroom, I think. So we'll wait, and then he'll close. I asked him to do a
What,
cover.
to make sure you don't get murdered? Why do we have to watch him come out of the bathroom?
Well, I don't know if he picked up.
No, he wants them to play a
But-
song.
When I was in college and that guy lit his room on fire, and then I kept playing burning down the house. I don't know if he worked on. I don't know. Here you go.
No, don't worry about it, man. We
Done.
don't need to. We
Good-
played us
The
in.
good thing is
You
that I'm
can't
not
play
recording, so I
copyrighted
can
music.
hang up.
All right, play something.
Can't
So
play
whatever's
copyrighted
gonna happen
music on the
doesn't have
podcast.
to involve
Andy
me.
Andy loves it because he doesn't have to listen to it.
Yeah.
We're the
Might
three
do
who
it.
have to be like,
Oh.
Uh,
All right then. You fuck.
no, it's fine. It's good. James is great. We love him.
He's gonna
But it
cry.
doesn't matter. We don't have to wait for him to close out the thing. It's
But you know what? Who
it's the
cares
thing.
about the feelings of a bike thief?
I'm hanging up.
That's right. That's right.
That's
I'm
like
sure he
stealing
probably
my
biked
jet-
away already.
That's like if I was rich and you took my jet ski.
I love you guys, and I love you guys out there. Thank you for subscribing, everybody. We'll be back. We'll talk to you again next time. We'll see you.